this is going to sound a little morbid, but lately I've been looking at cemetery plots for family members, and I noticed one local cemetery was raising their rates. I asked why, and they said it was the cost of living. Yeah.
Okay. That took a second, but okay, I like it. Okay, morbid is good in this case.
Right, and then I had to go to my actual office building today to pick up some things. Yeah, and when I walked into the lobby, there was a big sign on the wall that simply read, "Think." So I took out my Sharpie and wrote underneath it, "or thwim."
Oh, gosh.
Anyways, anything else from you guys before we get going? Anything else for the pre-roll there, boys?
I'm just waiting for the button. That's all I want.
I'm trying. I pressed it. It's
all right. Well, never mind. It's depressing. Well, hello, greetings, bienvenue, guten tag, hola, and Moobarkfluff to all the creatures in the Potiverse. Uchi static. Yay, there we go.
Whoa, shit. Sorry.
This is exciting. I'm so excited all of a sudden. This is neat.
Technical difficulties.
I am barely normal, coming to you through the magic of the internet, and with me is my co-host with the contained energy of the sun, Taebyn. How the fluff are you, Taebyn?
Well, I'm very bright because of my sunniness and the orange juice that they call the Sunny D or something. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But in any case, yes, I'm doing pretty good. I've been running around this week and doing some things. And other than that, I have been doing nothing else. How are you, Mr. Barely?
I'm doing pretty well. I want to also mention that joining us again is our associate producer / editor, Rayne Raccoon. How are you, Rayne?
Hello.
He was just waving, so all you first couldn't see that because this is all audio and stuff. But he was just waving at you.
I was waving to you two.
Oh,
but also
hi.
to the audience. The audience deserves it too. No, to you. Well, to you too also, apparently.
You were waving to Sonny Bono? No, that's not YouTube. Is that YouTube?
No.
Sonny Bono is Sonny and Cher.
Yeah,
who's the lead
Sonny
singer of U2? I'm confused.
That's
counts.
Bono, not Bono.
And Sonny Bono has passed away a long time back.
Yes.
I got a lot of things wrong just now.
A whole lot of things.
Okay, good.
Do you know how Sonny Bono died?
Was it a bona fide death? I don't.
Well, it was bona fide. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was very wooden. He skied into a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is not what I expected you to say. That's okay.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a joke. That's truth.
Oh, so undo that. Can you undo that?
Yeah. So what have you two furs been up to lately? And thank you both for stepping in while I was out of town last week.
You're so welcome. We missed you so much. Oh my cow, we're so glad you're back to see you.
And he just disappeared on us.
He disappeared. So yes, Rayne, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Barely's back. Yay.
Barely's
I thought I was
back.
going to have
my
to produce again.
No. It's just my camera turning off. All right. Well, let's get to the past today.
No. I have things to say.
No.
I have things to say.
Oh, that's right. Taebyn has a lot to say.
That's
the name of the episode.
And it starts now. That's why we're letting Rayne go first.
Okay.
So, happy Pride. Yeah, Rayne and Barely are both like, oh no, Taebyn has. So, happy Pride Month, everybody. Like I said before, but we're still on Pride Month. This is the last pupisode recording of the, well, not recording, but last pupisode of the month, Pride Month. Wow, I can talk. No, I can't. So,
Pup Pride.
The title of this pupisode is actually Taebyn has a lot to say. I thought that was really awesome, actually, barely to say that. But so if you look on the website, see what this episode is called. It is called Taebyn Has a Lot to Say. Now, this is contrary to my video on my YouTube that Barely actually made called The Pup with Nothing to Say.
That's right.
So all you listeners, go out on my YouTube and check out that video, The Pup with Nothing to Say, and on my YouTube, and compare and contrast with this episode of the podcast, and let us know your thoughts, the comparing and contrasting. So that's great. So to celebrate the end of Pride Month, this last episode in Pride Month, I would like to talk briefly about some notable LGBTQ science and math people in history. So, and by the way, I talked a little bit about some of these in season 3, episode 3, but I figured makes sense to talk about it again because Pride Month, yay, Pride, woo, and all that stuff. Woo-hoo, so, woo-hoo. Yes. So, all you first might know, Alan Turing, who lived 1912 to 1954, was the inventor of the Turing machine. And we talked about this a long time ago on the show. I was trying to find the episode we talked about Alan Turing and the Turing machine.
It's actually the Turing bomb. I visited it in England.
You did?
Yes. It's an amazing... Bletchley Park is where all of this took place, and it's an amazing place to go visit. I highly recommend it if you're in London.
Well, there you go. So Turing is... He was not only gay, but he did that... Well... So let me step back and say, so he was the inventor of the Turing machine, which is the basis of all computers, and was a World War II hero, which is where the bomb thing that Rayne was just talking about, I think.
Yeah, well, bomb is spelled BOMBE, which it's for breaking codes.
Oh, so yeah. Turing. I see.
So yeah, they called his machine the Turing bomb. BOMBE, because it's a code-breaking machine.
So. CE, you earned already?
Mm-hmm.
So he was prosecuted... Ding. So he was prosecuted in 1952 for homosexual acts. In 2009, so this is, 50-ish years after he passed away. In 2009, the British Prime Minister Gordon Brown made an official public apology on behalf of the British government for the quote-unquote appalling way he was treated. And then in 2013, Queen Elizabeth II granted him, posthumous pardon.
He wasn't funny at all.
No, it
wasn't funny what happened to him, that's for sure.
No,
definitely not. So that was very cool that, long after they try to rectify the deeds that were done. Leonardo da Vinci, who lived 1452 through 1519, who was a painter and a mathematician, was, well, all I could find was quote-unquote very likely gay. So there's that. Florence Nightingale, 1820 to 1920, who was most known for her nursing. I don't.
Nursing.
She was
a new career.
She was the only nurserer around.
The only nurserer. Yes.
She's the only nurserer in history, actually.
Right.
So she's most known for her nursing to be wow.
Words are hard.
Nursing pioneer, but also she was a trailblazing statistician. Her prowess of numbers and contributions to data visualization saved lives. She had 2 passionate relationships with women in her life. So shout out to her. Sarah Josephine Baker, who lived 1873 to 1945. She was known, you might or might not know, known for tracking down Typhoid Mary. She was openly gay. She contributed greatly to public health in New York City and took particular interest in helping communities of immigrants. Not nurturing, though. She fought to provide access to medical care for all areas of the city and help train new healthcare professionals. Okay. So another name you might not have heard, Ben Bars, who lived 1954 to 2017. He was a pioneer neurobiologist at Stanford University. His work on a type of brain cells called glia revolutionized our understanding of the brain. In 2013, very cool, Bars became the first openly transgender member elected to the U.S. National Academy of Sciences, which was an organization that includes many of the United States' leading scientists. So lots of very good, and there's so much more, including our very own Chice. She's not LGBTQ, I don't think, but she's a furry. So we've got a furry in the community, scientific community. For those that don't know, Chice is a vaccine research and developer that was involved in the development of the Moderna vaccine and keeps us first updated on the state of vaccines and COVID via their Twitter account. And we've tried to have Trice on the show, and Trice has said she wants to be on the show, and she hasn't yet, so we'll have to try and do that again. So Trice, if you happen to listen to this, come on to the show and talk to us.
Trice is a very busy fur.
She's oh yeah, I mean, she's got to be very busy.
Trying to nail down a schedule has been kind of like a nightmare.
Was it like a nursing nightmare?
Almost, yes.
Almost.
Not quite that bad, but almost.
No, we didn't have to call Florence.
There's lots of others. I mentioned a few others in season 3, episode 3. But shout out to scientists and mathematicians in the LGBTQ community in history and currently.
Yes.
So with that, I'll let us go on to the past today.
All right. Okay. Do you have anything from the past today?
I do, but I'm going last because, again, I have a lot to say.
Okay. Rayne, do you have anything before I tell my story?
I have nothing other than I hope you listened to last week's episode and enjoy it.
I hope I do too. Okay, so
I don't know why that's so funny, but it really is.
I hope I listen to it, and I think it's okay. So as all you furs know, I was traveling last week for a family funeral, and going out to the East Coast was okay. No problems with the flights or anything like that. But coming home was a nightmare.
Oh.
So my first mistake was that I thought my flight left at 6 a.m. when in fact it left at 6 p.m.
Oh.
So luckily I checked my schedule before I went to the airport. And I was like, I can sleep later. So I did. And then I hung out with a friend, and then he took me to the airport at 3 o'clock because it's Newark Airport and it's super busy, super busy.
Yeah.
So he gets me to the terminal, and it's the A terminal, which was not super busy. In fact, when we pulled up to the terminal, there was like 3 cars dropping off people in front.
Oh.
And he says, "Are you in the right terminal?" I was like, "Yes, it says Terminal A." And so I walk in, I get my bag checked, and I go to the gate. And I went through TSA for about 45 minutes to get through TSA, which is the longest I waited in TSA for a long time.
Yeah.
So I get to the gate, and I'm doing some stuff, and I'm just kind of hanging out there. And I get a notice that the gate changed. So it went from, I was at A23, which was at the far end of the terminal, and they changed it to A2, which is at the other end of the terminal.
The other end of the, oh no.
Okay. So all of us people that were waiting for the plane go to gate 2, and then they send us a notice that's saying, well, we get there and it's not our plane. It's a plane going to Austin, Texas. And so then about half an hour goes by, and they tell us that our flight is delayed because the plane arrived. It came in from Panama, but because there was no gates at A for the plane to get at because of other delays, they put the plane over at the B terminal.
Oh.
Now, instead of saying to all of us, go on over to B and we'll put you on the plane and ship you out, they said, we have to bring the plane over here. We have to depart from A gate. Why? I don't know, but it's like, okay. But your flight is delayed an hour. So now instead of 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, it's at 7 o'clock. And then they tell us they're changing the gate again. Now they move it back to A23. So we all trudge our butts back down to A23.
Oh, no.
And we get another alert that it's delayed another 45 minutes. So now it's going to be 7:45.
At the terminal you started at?
Yes, at the terminal I started
45 minutes ago.
Right. So then we're waiting, and we get another notice that it's going to be delayed another half an hour. So now it's going to leave at 8:15. And guess what? They moved the gate again to A11. So here we go trucking up to A11.
Well, at least you got to save a little space there.
That's right.
You can go back to A2.
So now we're at 3 gate changes so far, and still no plane. So we all get to gate 11, and there's no plane there, and no plane coming in, and nothing on the reader board saying the plane is coming in. At 8:30, they bring the plane over from the B terminal. Now, that plane had been sitting at the B terminal for 3 hours now. And they bring it over and they say, we'll get it going. We'll get you guys loaded up and get it off the ground as soon as we get the plane cleaned. It's like, wait a minute. It's been sitting over at B gate for 3 hours. Why didn't you clean it over there?
Well, because you have to clean an A gate plane in an A gate.
Apparently, yes.
My cow.
So they get us on the plane and then they tell us, oh, there's a mechanical issue. And I'm thinking, if I have to get off of this plane, I'm going to lose my shit. So all the mechanics are walking up and down the aisles and they're yelling back and forth. Did you get the screwdriver from the bag? Blah, 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 blah. And at 9:30, we finally took off. 3.5 hours later. Now, thankfully, I did not have a connection flight. It was a direct flight from Newark to Portland.
Good.
Because if there had been a connection, I would have been stuck somewhere.
Oh, you would have missed it.
I would have missed the connection flight.
Back
right?
at gate A2.
Right. Back at A gate 2, yeah. So I finally got home at like 3 a.m. when I was supposed to get home at like 9 p.m. And it was just not a happy camper. It was the trip from hell. Yeah. Oh, and then I flew first class home because I thought, well, I'll fly first class because updating was cheap. And so I ordered a meal. I ordered a 4-cheese cheeseburger. So they brought me the cheeseburger. They microwaved it so long that the bun was hard and the cheese had all slid off the burger onto the plate. So I had molten hot cheese on the plate.
Oh. That's not a 4-cheese burger. That's like a burger and 4 cheese on a plate. That's
what it was, right?
Hardtack and meat with some cheese.
Right. And then to top it all off, no condiments. So no mayonnaise, no mustard, no salt and pepper. And I'm flying first class now, mind you.
Yeah.
No condiments, right? They give me this little bowl that has like lettuce and a pickle to put it on there. The piece of lettuce covered 1/4 of the burger. And the pickle was like the end of the pickle.
Oh no.
So it was like 2 centimeters across and so thin you could see through it. And I'm like, this is not, no. So
what airline was that?
This is United.
Okay.
It was almost like they had never flown planes before. And so, when I got home the next day, I wrote a nasty letter to United. That'll teach them.
So.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
On their website. And then I get an email back that says, complaint letters will be responded to within 21 to 38 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Not hours, not days, 21 to 38 weeks.
So half a year later, you might get something back.
I'll get a letter saying, too bad, so sad, we don't care about you.
Well, I mean, at least they didn't respond with a poop emoji like some companies do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, but it's like in half a year, you'll just get a poop emoji in your email.
I'll get a poop emoji. I'll say, what is this for? I have no idea.
I forgot all about that. Wow, I'm so sorry. That'll be a fun story to tell at a party or something.
Yeah. Cool.
Or on a podcast.
So that was my trip from hell coming back from the funeral. Yes.
Definitely the fun was not in the funeral.
It was not. There was no fun in that funeral. Nope.
No.
All right. So now I turn it over to you, Mr. Taebyn, who has a lot to say.
Continuing the saying of the lots.
That's right.
Okay. So last time you might remember. I'm not going to have a voice.
He had nothing to say last week, so it's built up.
I built
gotcha.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So last time you might remember last week that I forgot to mention. It's like when we were talking about media, I thought that there was like some movie or some show or something that I forgot, and I said next week I'll say what that was. I found out, and I'm going to say what it was. It was not a movie. It was the show. We started the show Broad City, which is on Amazon Prime. Have you heard of this show?
I have.
Oh,
yes.
Have you seen?
I have not watched it. No, but I have not
watched it yet.
Well, let me tell you then.
Well, please.
You're in for a treat, because I'll tell you what me and my honey thought of it. We do not like it. It's not very good.
Okay.
so there you go.
Okay.
And you remembered this
just now.
Why?
I don't have it because I needed things to say, apparently.
Apparently.
Okay. All right.
What are you talking about, Taebyn?
I have no idea, but thanks for asking.
You're welcome.
So also last week, I started to sing randomly because I do that sometimes. I start to randomly sing a random song. And I started to sing, "This is the way of the modern world." And I couldn't remember what the rest of the song was or what the song name was. So I'm here to say that the song is called "The Handshake" by Bad Religion. So there's that. Yeah.
Okay.
Off
Fair enough.
my favorite album of theirs, which is what's that album called? It's the one with 21st Century Digital Boy. I don't know how to live, but I got a lot of toys. You know, that one. Anyway, next I have to say, "Cannibalism, Every First Almost Tired Thumb." What am I saying there? Okay, so and then what I have to say is, hold on just a sec. So the next thing is, so several episodes ago, Barely, you referenced our 19-minute episode.
Yes.
And I think you even said the name was a little bit of Taebyn Fluff. So I went back and found it. And indeed, season 1, episode 15 is 19 and a half minutes long. And it's titled, like you said, A Little Bit of Taebyn Fluff. So I went back and listened to it today. And so just a few notes about it. So I was on vacation. What this episode was about, of course, was I was on vacation. And so you barely put together some of my fluff from the pod and from some of my videos. And you did like a really great job putting it together. All you first go back and listen to this episode because he did a really good job of putting it together. A few notable things. In the first few minutes were just you just putting together some of my ramblings that we didn't have time for on the pod, or it didn't relate to anything on the pod. And I'm just rambling. And so you had cut it out. And so you put it together. And so after this few minutes of my random ramblings, you said to all the listeners on the show, but it's fun to listen to. And it gives you an idea of what it's like to run a podcast with Taebyn.
Yes, it does. Yes.
We'll mark this clip for next time we need to do this.
Next time, yes, this clip is going in there. Yes, it's like
definitely. You included a clip from our Taebyn Talks with that we did at BFFT, and the clip had the origin of hinder fruit, and I think we've wondered that before. Where did that originate from? And it was on that show we did at BFFT, and so you talk about that a little bit on this particular episode. And you included my poem Reflection, which was one of the few times in life I was serious or something, maybe. Anyway, so it's a poem I wrote. So all you first, if you want to go hear I've written many poems, actually. If you want to hear one of the poems I've wrote in nurserying, go back and listen to that episode. Also, I have a few poems on my YouTube channel, so you can go there too. And there's other great things on that episode, so go back. It was a great trip down memory lane, and that was fun that I did that. And I have one more thing from the past today.
Okay, let's hear it.
And this will take a few minutes. I have so many things. There's a reason for the title of this episode. Okay, so from last time, and actually Rayne knew I was going to do this time because I said I would. So I did math last time, and I wanted to redo it this time because barely you might find it interesting and stuff. And also, I said last time that this week I would say why it works. So that's another reason why I'm doing it. So let's do this.
I've had to wait a whole week for this.
I know, a whole week. You have the...
hold on. I got to do something.
There you go.
Okay, listeners, I want to point out that both my co-hosts are now shirtless while we're recording.
But I am a pup and I never wear a shirt anyway, so that's... But maybe raccoons usually wear shirts.
There we go. Better.
Okay. All right.
Well, hey,
there we go.
I figured we had to do this. So
the math from last week. So, okay, Barely, do you have something to write with and write on?
Yes.
And all you listeners, if you can, maybe you didn't hear this last week and you can do this too, or you can do it again. And Rayne, we can all do this together. So, a few words, mathy words in case you know. A quadrilateral is any four-sided figure. So it could be a square, it could be a diamond, but things don't have to be parallel. It's just things can be of different length. They just have to have four sides.
Okay.
That's a quadrilateral. Now, a parallelogram is any quadrilateral whose sides are both parallel. So a square is a parallelogram. A diamond is a parallelogram. A shifty box. The sides don't have to be the same length, but the opposite sides just have to be parallel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now draw any quadrilateral, any at all. I mean,
Any with four sides.
Four sides, and the sides can't intersect, so they're all, but any four sides.
Okay, I've got one.
Okay. And
Rayne
has one, but I can't see it. So all you
can't
first,
see it because my camera keeps blocking it.
It does. So all you first, you have a quadrilateral? We'll think
yes.
You said yes. Okay. Now. Oh, there's Barely's. Yeah.
Yeah, his looks like mine from last week.
It does.
Oh.
Now take the midpoints of each side and connect them. So you'll get another quadrilateral.
Okay. Done.
Now, what does it look like you have?
It looks like I have a square inside a quadrilateral.
So, in particularly, you have a parallelogram.
Yes.
Now, this is the theorem. It's always true that no matter what quadrilateral you draw in the beginning, if you connect the midpoints, you will always end up with a parallelogram. So you'll always end up with a four-sided thing whose opposite sides are parallel, and all the sides are of the same length, or the opposite sides are of the same length. And,
Interesting.
This is a really cool theorem that I came across just before last week's episode, and so I talked about it on last week's episode.
And it did work with the Star Trek thing.
And right, so the Star Trek, you don't have to have everything pointed out. You could have like a Star Trek emblem, so where dips into the sides. It'll work with that too. It's really, really amazing. So here's why this works. It's actually pretty easy, and you can actually draw kind of the proof for yourself. So first of all, let me say this relies on the triangle mid-segment theorem, which says that if you take any triangle, if you connect the midpoints of two of its sides, that what you just drew will be parallel to the third side. And you can just draw that, and it makes sense.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Yep. And also the length of that segment that connects the two midpoints is always going to be half the length of the third side. And this is for any triangle you can imagine. And that's a pretty, actually, in its own right, interesting separate thing. But so that's a triangle mid-segment theorem. Now, for this quadrilateral thing, take the one you drew and connect the opposite vertex. We need a triangle too in order to apply this theorem, right? So take the opposite sides of any two of the vertices and connect it with a line. So now you've got two triangles. You've kind of divvied your quadrilateral up into two triangles.
Okay.
Good? Yes.
Good.
Now, so take one of those triangles. The triangle mid-segment theorem says that the line you just drew, that is that kind of base of that triangle, is parallel to the line segment that connected the two midpoints of the quadrilateral. Yeah, you see that kind of? Okay, so those are parallel now, but the same thing is true for the other triangle, which means that the two sides of the midpoints connected by the quadrilateral also have to be parallel.
Okay. My brain hurts.
Are we stuck? I mean, if you draw it, it's like it's right there. It's right in front of your eyes if you draw it. Right, so you've got 3 lines that are parallel, the 2 segments on the quadrilateral. And like each of those are parallel to that line you drew connecting the vertices.
Yeah.
So those 2 line segments are parallel.
Okay. Yes, they are.
And they are. And the same thing for, you could connect the other 2 vertices with a line segment, and it's the same thing. So those other 2 sides are parallel.
Okay.
And because of that, again, so that's because of the triangle mid-segment theorem. So all those are parallel. And also by the theorem, because of the length thing, the opposite sides are the same length. And it's actually an easy proof. And there it is.
And there it is.
And that is my pass today. I finished it. I did it.
Okay. Well,
and you made it through.
This is happening to my note.
Okay, good.
Up and over the divider. There we go.
Good. And Rayne, are you going to frame yours?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, good.
Putting guardrails on the Death Star since 1977.
Yes. Oh, my cow.
Oh, my cow, indeed. Okay. Well, let's see. What does that take us up to? So that takes us up to dictionary.
That's true. Like after all that, but we don't even know where we are.
Where are we at? Oh, dictionary of obscure words. So I have 4 words from the D category. And the first word is something that has to do with math a little bit. It's dactylonomy, which means using your fingers and toes to count. So you're muted, Taebyn.
I definitely did not know that.
Yes.
Is all I said.
This other one is also kind of a mathy thing, and this is the term decamerous, which means having parts in tens.
Yeah, I would have said you're not camerous anymore because you're decamerous.
You're decamerous, yes.
That's not right. Okay.
No, not
and then, Taebyn, your hubby is going to be known as dendrophilus.
Oh, and what is a dendrophilus?
A dendrophilus is someone who is fond of trees.
That is my honey to a T. Those
Tatsu
trees.
really likes trees. Yeah.
You will have to tell him that he's dendrophilus when you get upstairs later.
I will
then,
definitely do that.
And then disciform is the last word, and that is round or oval in shape. So there you go.
Okay, that's the form. It's a disciform.
Disciform.
Very interesting.
And dendrophilus.
Dendrophilus.
Yes, indeed. All right. And I'm going to turn it over to you two for the obscure movie quotes.
Okay. Well, I have been a bad raccoon. And
no,
I did not gather clips from movie quotes.
No. So next week, all you furs.
Next week.
We'll have some.
But I know Taebyn last week had some very tough ones.
I did.
That,
did he?
I did not get right.
Oh,
so
well, let's
I don't think
hear
you got
them.
any of those right. Yeah.
I don't think I did.
This
You're
week
going to get the answer, of course, right?
Yes. So this week, I'll read them again and give you another chance, and then I'll tell you the answer. So yeah, these are very difficult, as Rayne said. Hopefully, if any of you furs want to try it out before you get the answer, I'll tell you, and then pause, see if you can figure it out, and then I'll tell you the answer. So the first one is lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, that was a tough one. Any ideas?
Is that from Star Wars?
No, see, I thought it was Alien
That
Resurrection.
was lions and tigers and Ewoks, I think. So very close, very close.
Okay, gotcha. All right. And what is that from?
That is from The Wizard of Oz, actually. Dorothy says that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, I know. That's a tough. So the next one is a pretty obscure, even more obscure quote than that. It goes, "And your little dog too." Yeah, that's a tough one.
And your little dog too, which is only half of the dog that was named Tutu, so it's
It
not
is.
that dog.
It's not.
So-
Yeah,
I
right.
I had guessed that it was out of Africa.
Oh, out of Africa. Is it?
Yes.
Is it No Country for Old Men?
Oh, that is so close. You're very so close. No, actually, that is also from The Wizard of Oz. The witch says that.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
see? We're learning
This
so
movie
much
has
today.
a lot of layers.
It really
Yes.
does. It really does. Okay, and the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready? This is
Yes.
tough. This
Okay.
is the clincher. Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Is that because she was kicked out of the band?
Twister.
She
Twister.
was.
Twister's the movie.
She was kicked out of the band, and she said, "Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore."
That's exactly right. And you would, I think that's what resulted from the whole incident. But no, the movie is actually from, once again, The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy says that, believe
But
it or
it
not.
could have been Twister, though.
Yes.
Oh,
it could have been
yes,
Twister.
it could have
Yeah.
been Twister. That's
'Cause
true.
Dorothy
that's
was
true.
in Twister.
Mhm.
Yes, she
Yes,
was.
she was.
She was. It could have gone either way, though. So we'll give you half a
Right.
point for that one then.
Yeah.
Woo!
And I guess what I should have named this episode was Raccoons and Puppies and Bears, oh my.
Yeah. You could subtitle that.
Missed opportunity.
Yes.
When-
If only I had known. If only
Yeah.
I had known.
oh my cow. Well, and so
Okay.
that concludes my obscure movie words quotes. I said no quotes for the
Quotes.
week.
Quoted quotes. Yes.
Words are quotes, too.
Yes. Oh, and I have a next thing, don't I? I have so much. I have more
Yeah.
things to say.
You do. Please say more.
More.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm here on Tuesdays. No, actually, I have a That's Just Stupid.
Okay.
And I mean, this is something that actually happened. I mean, well, I'll tell you, and then you'll know. So, my honey bot. I mean, you're not. I mean, you know, we've talked a lot about how he does things in the garden outside. He likes trees. He likes plants, all that stuff. So he buys nozzles and things for hoses and stuff because, well, that's what you got to do for your water stuff. So he bought off Amazon a hose swivel. And so that's one of those little attachments you put at the end of a hose so that the other thing can like swivel around on it.
Yes.
Stuff.
Mhm.
So it's not a very big thing. And so it came in a small plastic bag, like it's
Okay.
a small thing. And I measured
Yes.
this small plastic bag measured 5 inches by 2 inches, which was actually bigger than it needed to be. But okay, so it's a 5 inch by 2 inch bag that it came in. Now, the label on the bag read, "Warning, risk of infection." No, it did not say that. It did not.
Risk of
Okay.
infection.
No.
What?
It
Where
said,
are you getting your supplies from?
not from the correct Amazon. I think this was Amazon in South Africa or something. No, it actually said, "Warning, risk of suffocation. Plastic bags and films can be dangerous. To avoid danger of suffocation, keep this bag or film away from babies and children." And remember, so keep in mind, this is a 5 inch by 2 inch plastic bag. So we were then thinking, if you're a baby gerbil or something, maybe.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, that was kind of silly and stupid. And so that's that's just stupid. I thought it was funny.
Okay.
If you want to suffocate a baby gerbil, well, buy our swivel hose thing.
Well, I mean, you could close their mouth and just put it over their nose.
You can
Yeah.
it would just barely fit though.
Yes.
I have another thing, as you can tell from the notes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I have a joke.
Okay.
No.
You actually, I would not be surprised if both of you have actually already heard this. So I'll just say to all our listeners, here's a joke that Barely and Rayne probably already know. So an Englishman staggers all he's all bashed up and he's all like distruggled and stuff. And he staggers into a roadside bar, demanding a large brandy. The barman is concerned by his appearance and his attitude and says, "So, what's going on? It seems you're a little bit distressed. What happened?" And the man says, "Well, I was just driving along in my B&W, and suddenly the B&W just gave up. Like the engine stopped. So I slowly, went into the side of the road and stopped and everything by the pasture that you have right here next to your fine bar with all your farm animals and everything. So So I went around, got out of the car and went around and lifted the hood to see if I could find out what was wrong. But I have no idea how these modern cars work. So I was about to call the Automobile Association when then I saw two horses come up from the pasture. They came up right up to the fence and look at the engine. And then one of them actually spoke. Clear as day. I could not believe my ears. This horse spoke. And the bartender, all calm for whatever reason, said, "Oh, okay, what did it say?" And the man says, "Well, this is the extraordinary thing. It told me to press down on some little bit of plastic thingy until I heard a click. So I did that. And then the horse said to try the engine. And so I went around and tried the engine, and it started immediately. It was amazing." The barman said calmly, and tell me, what color was this horse?" "Color?" The man said, "Color? What do you mean color?" "The thing spoke to me. Clear as day. It spoke to me. But, I mean, it was a brown horse, if you must know." And the barman said, "Thought so." And so he went back to polishing his glasses. It's like, why is he so calm? It's like, okay. The man's like, "But thought so. What did you not hear him saying? The horse talked to me. The horse talked to me." And the barman says, "Well, I mean, I thought it would be her. The white one knows nothing about BMW ignition systems." And there is that.
Oh, okay.
So moving right along.
Moving right along to media. So I started watching a new Netflix series called Fubar, and it stars the Arnold, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
Yeah.
he'll be back.
Oh, I saw an ad for that just today. Okay, I've wondered about that. So how is that?
It's pretty good. It's an action comedy series. No spoilers, because if you watch the clip on Netflix, you get the premise of the show. And the premise is that Arnie plays a retiring CIA agent that finds out his own daughter is also a CIA operative. And that their entire lives have been a fabrication to each other.
Oh, dun dun dun.
And he's sent off to try and extract an operative, and it is his daughter, and he finds out when he gets there that it's his daughter, and comedy and hilarity ensues. Things get blowed up. There's bullets flying. People die in a violence, but, it's also funny. So
Right.
Okay.
And then I also started the old show, What We Do in the Shadows. It's cheesy and funny, and it's still being made. They have new episodes coming out in July. So it's been around for a while and still being done. So
what is that about? I don't think I've heard of this show.
It's about some vampires that live in Staten Island.
Oh,
and it's filmed like a reality show. Like they're talking to them, documenting their life.
Kind of Big Brother with vampires.
Yes. So they all live in this house, and they all learn about stuff. Think of Interview with the Vampire meets The Office, which is about the best way to describe it.
I have to watch this. This sounds, and I love those reality shows that are like, they're filmed to be reality shows, but really they're meant to be funny and cheesy and stuff. I love those. Yeah. That's awesome.
I mean, just like Modern Family was. They would cut to them talking about things.
Yes, and then what's it called? Come on. No, I have to know. I have to figure this out now. It's the one, Trailer Park Boys.
Yes, same thing. Same premise.
Same idea. I love those. So I'll have to watch that. What do we do in the shadows?
And that's what I've been watching since I got back from the eastern side of the country.
Eastern side? Not to be too stern or confused with the horse that speaks to you, because it's the brown one.
Yes.
Always the brown one.
Always the brown one.
And what have you been watching and consuming, my friend Taebyn?
Not too exciting. So still been watching South Park for lunchies. You might or might not remember at one point I talked about we started a Netflix show called The Mindy Project. Yep, and we finished season 1 way back, and so we started season 2. I recommend the show. I don't know if it's every fur's cup of tea, but it's funny. I like it. It's really good. The movie we watched was the 2022 The Batman. Have either of you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
And what did both of you think about that?
It's pretty good. I mean, considering I don't really like Pattinson.
Oh.
Because vampires don't sparkle.
Well,
that's
I
can't get over that.
I knew that. Okay,
yes,
that's right.
Yes. But he wasn't half bad as Batman, and I do like the new Batmobile in that movie. I thought it was really muscle car-y and kind of harkened back to the older Batmobiles.
Harkened. And Barely, what did you think of the movie?
I liked it. I like all of the Batman movies.
Yeah, so as you know, it was a 3-hour movie, and so it took us 2 days to watch. And our feeling is that it was as slow as molasses on a witch's toe.
Okay.
So, I mean, it just moved way too slow, and there wasn't enough action. So we weren't too excited about it, but anyway.
Yeah, as far as Batman movie could go, it was a little slower paced.
Also, and I mean, it's a Batman thing, I know, but he doesn't talk very loud, and it's kind of hard to understand what he's saying. Not as bad. When we got done, when he was talking about this, my honey properly said, it's nowhere as bad as Still Game. If you remember. Yeah. Because that was pretty hard. We didn't need to put on the subtitles to understand what he's saying anyway, so that's good.
That's good.
So that's what we've been watching. I've been playing Monkeys Go Pop, Bloons, Beat Saber. I beat. Well, I told you both. I'm still excited. I beat Radioactive on hard mode, like not slow. I had been.
That's a hard song to beat on any mode.
It is. I had to go to the. You can go to the practice setting and slow it down and stuff. So I had to do that a bit. I won it, but just barely on like 75% speed for a while. So then the other day or yesterday, I thought, well, I'll just try it and see what I can do on full speed. And I beat it. I don't think, I think it was very close, but I finally got through. Like if I would have missed that very last block on the very last one, I think I would have lost. But anyway, but also today I tried it again and I won again. So that's exciting. So the next thing to do, I guess, is go to expert and slow it down to like 5%. Because that's, wow. But you're right. It's like, I don't know how people can do that.
Well, and I have to tell you that on my trip to the East Coast, I actually downloaded and started playing Balloons.
Balloon 6?
Whatever was on the Apple thing.
I think Apple, does Apple have 6, Rayne? Do you know?
I know they have up to 5 when we checked before.
I think it was 5. It was the most recent one, whatever it was. But yeah, it's kind of a fun little game.
The most recent for us is Bloom 6. I haven't played Bloom 5, but I mean, it's got to be the same type of stuff. But I do know they've like made a lot of changes and upgrades to Bloom 6 and stuff. But anyway, good for you. You thought it was an okay little thing?
Yeah, it was fun to play.
Yeah, it definitely kills some time.
It does. It does.
And balloons even.
And balloons. Lots of balloons. Kills lots of them.
It's good. So how much did you play? How far did you get and stuff?
Not for I don't remember. I got there. I don't remember though. I don't remember how far I got.
Okay, good. That's exciting. Yep. You heard it here first, you furs. Barely doesn't remember how far I got.
Well, when you're stuck in an airport, everything seems like it's going nowhere.
Yes.
Just like my life.
Just like your life. Yep.
And this pod.
Yes, indeed.
And I've been playing Hearthstone a little bit, so I mentioned this last week, but since you're here, Barely, I'll tell you, I made Legend! I'm so excited.
Ooh,
yeah, that's taken quite a long time, but I made Legend instead. I don't remember if you remember anything about the ranking systems on Hearthstone, because it's been a long time since we talked about that, but I did that, and that was exciting. So, and that's what my media for the week. How about you, Rayne?
I have been not watching media this week because I have been on Reaper editing the podcast from last week.
Oh my
cow. So I have not watched much. I've watched some YouTube. I watched my favorite YouTube couple, Evan and Caitlin, pour some resin projects and stuff, but I haven't really been like investing a lot of time in media this week.
But you have been a part of media this week because of your DJing on Friday evening. So
that
every
is
fur,
true.
shout
That
out
is
to our
true.
very own DJ, Rayne Raccoon, who has DJ'd at such cons such as NW, Anther Northwest, and Furlandia, and Get Out the Float. And he started just a few weeks ago, or this
2 weeks
tomorrow
ago.
will be the third, actually.
Yeah, tomorrow's the third show.
Third show. So every Friday night, 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific time.
Correct.
He does a live stream through Mixcloud, is it?
Yes.
Mixcloud. And the last few weeks have been awesome. He's been doing some great Pride sets. Because Pride and everything.
I'm gonna finish out the month with Pride because you know,
because that makes sense.
It's June, so it makes sense.
Yes.
So listen to that, and he's recorded them, so you can listen to them if you want to know what they're like, and you can't wait till Friday or something like that. So check out our very own DJ Rayne for some hoppin' tunes and everything. So really, Rayne's been a big part of media this week because you've been creating some.
I suppose I have been. I've been creating pods and DJ streams.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So let's do some this or that.
Oh.
Okay. So
are you happy? Are you okay that you're back with us here, Barely? Because I'm. Craig
absolutely.
Pup. Okay, good. I was scared there because I do things.
Yes.
Well, it's still better than being stuck in an airport.
I make
That's
noises.
true.
But it's so good to know that having being on a show with me is better than being stuck in an airport. Because if it were the other way, I'd feel kind of bad about my life.
Yeah. So, okay. So this first one's for you, Taebyn.
Oh.
Would you rather be a cube or a pyramid?
This is a tough one, actually, because, I'm a cubing pup, and there's a cube, and there's a pyramid, well, quote unquote cube called a pyraminx, and I do like them both. Oh, but which one would I rather be?
Yes.
So
which would you
that's
rather
the
be?
other side of the flop.
Yes.
I'll go with. Well, the pyramid has a little twisty things on the end, so that'd be like they'd be twisting my head off, and I don't want that. So I'll go with the cube.
Okay. Yeah, pyramid
I
is
thought
not,
way
but a
too hard
cube
about
is
that.
You did.
Well, you're
did.
easier to pack away too if you're a cube.
That's true.
Okay. Rayne, this one's for you.
Okay.
Would you rather live in Victorian England or ancient Egypt?
Both very interesting decisions. I think I would go for Victorian England because I do not speak Egyptian.
You're an interesting decision.
I am.
Yes. Okay, Victoria England it is. Taebyn.
How do you two even put up with me? I mean, really?
I don't know, but
Oh, it's-
Taebyn,
Practiced.
Yes.
would you rather be colorblind or only see everything in shades of pink?
Well, I am a pup, so contrary to popular beliefs, there are some pups out there and some dogs that do see color, and
Yes.
I'm one of them. So I actually don't know what it's like to be. But that's black and white. Colorblind or only shades of pink? Well, pink is pretty, and it's June for Pride, so I'm gonna say not every, but only in shades of pink.
Okay. Okay. Taebyn,
And I do like
or
the
no?
singer Pink.
Oh,
Yes.
all right.
She's great.
All right. So, Rayne, would you rather be stuck dancing for the rest of your life or stuck laughing for the rest of your life?
That's kind of an odd question.
Dancing, because I would be like totally ripped if
There
I
you go.
danced all the time.
Okay.
You ever see dancers are like, they're fit.
They are very fit. All right, Taebyn, you're going to laugh at this one, and this one's for you. Would you rather drink soda from your dress shoes, or drink soda from your gym sneakers?
What is this? I think I'll go with the dress shoes, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, there are so many like levels. Like this is
Yes.
beyond the onion. There are like so many layers to this.
So many layers.
I'm not even going to start to think about that.
Okay. And finally, Rayne, this is for you.
All right.
Chicago or New York?
Oh, and that one's
See, I've
just...
been to both places. I liked New York a lot more than I did Chicago. So New York.
All right. I would agree
And
with
I'm
you on
gonna
that.
have to say, probably it also comes down to which one has the gym shoes and which one has the dress shoes, and which one has the brown horses and which one has the white horses.
Yes. Would you rather
Sure.
have your car fixed by a brown horse or a white horse?
Brown
I
horse.
want the brown one,
Especially
the
if
one
you
that
have a
actually knows
BMW.
what they're doing.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right. That's right. Okay, that takes us up to furries in the news. I don't have anything. Do you guys have anything for furries in the news?
I have nothing except for what I had last week. That
Okay.
conservatives are still blaming us for everything.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's all I've got.
All right. Taebyn?
Well, mine is to go in reverse order and say, we are furries in the furries in the furries in the bark. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm done with my friend. That's it.
That's all his contribution to furries in the news is.
Pretty much.
All right. All right. Well, then that takes up to upcoming events. All right, so upcoming events. The first one, June 23rd through 25th, which is when this episode comes out. You have Aurora in Sydney, Australia. You also have that same weekend, the next weekend, July 29th, or June 29th through July 2nd is Anthrocon in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, of course. That same weekend in London, UK is Pride Unbound in London. July 1st through the 8th, a 7-day con. This is a long con. Well, eight day cons, if you think about it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a long con. That's Lakeside Furs 2023 in Austria. So kind of go there and have some fun.
Yeah, they're European, so they get actual like long vacation times.
Okay.
Not
Well,
like
there
us
you go.
poor Americans.
Right. July 6th through the 9th in Alberta, Canada is Fur A. Also, the July 7th through the 10th in South Africa is South AfriFur, which is kind of cute name. Then you can go July 14th through the 16th. There are 2 cons going on. One in Norway, which is Furway in Norway, and Anthro Weekend Utah in, of course, Utah. And July 21st through the 23rd is Far Out West in Western Australia. There's a lot of Australian cons in this week.
Yeah.
These weeks. And then if you were going to go to the Kansas FurCon 2023, that's been canceled. So you can't go. So,
you can't.
yeah.
Well, you could go, but there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. So
Probably won't be any furs there.
nope. And that is the upcoming events for the month of July.
And the rest of June.
And the rest of June, but this episode
But
drops at
mostly
the end
July.
of June, so mostly July.
So July.
Yeah, sure, you betcha.
And so
Especially
next,
for the one in
is
Norway.
will it be next week or the week after we get to talk about a con I'm going to in August?
Next week we can talk about that if you want.
Yay!
Yay!
All
you
you furs
go.
out there say yay!
Yay! Yay!
There's only 2 of us.
I can hear them. I can hear them.
I can
saying
hear
yay.
that.
That's right.
There it is.
All right, now Taebyn, I know you gave us some math at the beginning of the episode, which was kind of a recap, and you told us why it worked. But do you have some new math for us today?
I do.
Okay, I do. I do
do.
believe in ghosts. I do believe in spooks. I do. What's that from?
I was going to ask you the same thing. What's that from?
That's from The Wizard of Oz also.
Oh, yeah.
Oh!
When they were in the dark forest and
yes.
the ghosties
was that
came
the
along.
Tin Man?
No, it was the Cowardly Lion. I
Yes.
do believe in
yes.
spooks. I do believe in spooks. I do.
That's right.
Yes.
Wow, I'll have to go back and watch that movie. My cow.
Mm-hmm.
So, this week's math is Rayne requested. Yay. And so this is actually going to come in two parts. So Rayne requested that I talk about game theory a little bit. And so I'm going to talk about, because he's really interested in game theory. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then this will be part 1. The next week, there'll be a part 2. Because I already talked so much and this is already going to take too long to say. So anyway.
Okay.
Setting the stage. So game theory, what am I trying to say? Hi. Game theory is actually not just, it's a branch of math, and it's actually not just studying like football or chess or tiddlywinks. Those are actually, it's part of it. Those are quote unquote recreational games. And it's a subcategory of game theory. Game theory is really the study of mathematical models of strategic interactions among entities that aim to perform optimal actions. That is, this game theory is looking at models of things that have a set of rules and strategizing to win them.
Okay.
So game theory has applications in social science, economics, logic, and computer science, just to name a few. Game theory is actually all over the place. Originally, game theory was used to describe and model how human populations will behave when confronted with situations analogous to a given game being studied. So there could be like a game, a thing with a set of rules and everything, and you want to make that analogous to something, to some type of human interaction or population or something like that. And this is where the social science aspect comes in. And in fact, game theory, it's a mathematical thing, which means it has mathematical structure on its own, and it has its own mathematical stuff. So game theory is even used to predict the reactions and decisions made in a particular human population or between people or things like that. And this is, when you look at it that way, this is called behavioral game theory. This was game theory in general, especially behavioral game theory, was extensively developed in the 1950s. It actually started like 1930s, but it was really developed in the 1950s and was even applied to biological evolution in the 1970s. So there's all kinds of applications that you would not expect when you hear branch of mathematics. You just think, oh, I'm going to take a derivative of something and add it to x. No, there's a lot more going on here. And besides, for more examples of recreational games, besides what I already mentioned, are also poker, something called the prisoner's dilemma, which I'll talk about in a little bit. The game of chicken, when you head off and you who's going to bow down first. Game of chicken. And even rock, paper, scissors is considered one of these games that you can study via game theory.
Huh.
So from a social science point of view, because Rayne said this is actually, in particular, some of the aspects of game theory he's interested in. Behavioral game theory, I want to give you 2 examples. One is asking someone out on a date.
Okay.
So when you do this, you want a strategy for getting them to agree to go out with you on a date. And this strategy might involve, you want some kind of reward, like actually having fun on the date. And this reward should be at a minimal cost to you. That is, you don't want to spend lots of money, or you want to minimize the amount of uncomfortable situations and interactions you have with your date or something. So don't
go on the date.
So just that's how you do it. You took care of that right away.
No problems.
I'm going to ask you out. No, actually, I don't want to have that problem. Bye. Sorry, I'm not going to do it. So that's an example from behavioral game theory. You can study that. The other example I want to say, as I mentioned, is I want to talk about this thing called the prisoner's dilemma. I've talked about the prisoner's puzzle or something like that on a previous episode of the pod. This is different, and I might have actually talked about prisoner's dilemma before, but I don't remember. So in any case, I'll talk about it again. But then I want to talk about a little bit about. I want to tell you what the prisoner's dilemma is, and then I'll talk about a bit about how it relates to behavioral game theory. So prisoner's dilemma is pretty recent, actually. It came about in 1993, and it's actually become the focus of a lot of research in behavioral game theory. So here's how it goes. You have two members of a criminal gang. We'll call them A and B. Gang member A and gang member B. They're arrested and imprisoned. Now, each prisoner is given solitary confinement where they have no way of talking to each other. So they're all, this is of course so that they can be interrogated without, contriving something, whatever. So the principal charge for the crime would be a combined, that is both of them have a combined sentence of 10 years in prison. But the police do not have the evidence for a conviction of the principal charge. Okay, great. Fine. So they plan instead to sentence both of the prisoners to 2 years in prison on a lesser charge. But, so they're given this 2 years, but they have a bargain. If one of the prisoners confesses to the crime, remember they can't talk to each other, they're in separate solitary confinements. Mm-hmm. If one of them confesses to the crime, which means they would be betraying the other, they would be pardoned and set free. But then the other must serve the entire 10 years instead of the 2 years for the lesser charge.
Okay.
So this leads to 4 different possible outcomes. The first is, if both of them remain silent, they get the lesser charge of 2 years. They both get the 2 years. Okay.
Right.
No one does the 10. The second possible outcome is if the first one betrays the second, but the second remains silent, doesn't say anything, the first will be set free, but the second one serves the 10 years in prison. Okay. The third option is, of course, vice versa. If instead the first one remains silent, but the second one does the betrayal, then the first serves the 10 years and the second is set free. Okay. The fourth outcome is if they both betray each other. Then, remember I said it's a combined sentence of 10 years. In that case, they will share the sentence and they both have 5 years. So there's a 2 year, 5 year, 10-year plan, as it were, depending on what they do. Mm-hmm. So, of course, then, we want to know what's the best answer, what happens, how can you analyze this and all this stuff. So behavioral game theory suggests, like the analysis suggests, that criminals who are offered a greater reward will betray their partner. Loyalty to the partner would be rational thinking and mutual cooperation. that is, that they would both remain silent. So the loyalty would give a greater net award, right? They would both have only the 2 year sentence instead of one doing 10 or the 5 year thing. But in this game, because they're criminals, there's irrational thought. And the only possible outcome in that case is the betrayal. But alternative ideas governing this behavior has been proposed. For example, any further that's interested, their name is Eleanor Ostrom, Ostrom, has done some research on this. The prisoner's dilemma also illustrates that the decisions made under collective rationality, that is, both prisoners, if they were to communicate, i.e. communicate or think more rationally and do the don't betray each other thing. So this illustrates that the decisions made under the collective rationality may not necessarily be the same as those made under individual rationality, which, I think we've already known. It makes sense. Like if people get together and talk about things, or if they are compassionate for each other, they'll have a different motive different actions than if they were to just think close-minded and centered on themselves. So it's really, really interesting that game theory, this branch of mathematics that has its own set of rules and things that it does, can analyze something in strictly social, scientific situations and things like that. There's applications, as I said, in economics. Game theory is used. It's not just an old thing. It's still used to help predict stock market outcomes and things like that. So lots and lots of real world outcomes, really interesting. So that's my part 1. Part 2. So next week, Rayne also said he's interested in the idea of zero-sum games, which is another category of game theory. And so next week, I will talk a little bit about zero-sum games and give an example. And I think it's a pretty interesting example. So that's my math for the week, and we'll see you next week on that math too.
Awesome possum.
Very interesting. Right. Thank you for having me look into that, Rayne, because I didn't know a lot of that stuff, and it's actually very interesting.
I didn't know a lot of that either, but it's definitely an interesting subject.
And you know, the research in this, I mean, it's not done. There's still game theory research going on, and the different avenues and what's been done. Like, there's so much out there. There's just so much. So if any is interested in these ideas, looking more into game theory, and it doesn't stop here. You can just keep going and learning more and more stuff.
Like the Energizer Bunny, it keeps going and going and going.
Going and going.
And which is what, just like Taebyn talking, keeps going and going and going.
Going and going and going.
Oh my God.
Which now takes us up to, before we close out our show, we have to share some jokes. Not that we haven't had any jokes already. So
we already even talked about share earlier in the episode.
In the evening episode.
Well, we talked about Sunny.
Oh yeah.
Nursing.
Nursing. That's right.
Nursing. So, Taebyn, do you have your joke book?
I do.
And what is the title of your joke book?
The title of my joke book is The Ultimate Dad Joke Book, 501 Hilarious Jokes and Puns, written by Hugh Murmy. That is Humor Me, which I applaud and shout out to Barely for noting that Hugh Murmy. I didn't realize that at first, so that's very nice.
Yes.
And it's a joke book where each time we do this, I just go to the next page and read those without having read them before myself. So if they're really, really bad, which sometimes they are, you can't blame me because I haven't read them in advance. Whereas on the other paw, Barely and Rayne, you search for really bad jokes, right?
Yeah, we do. Yes.
So we can blame you for them.
That's right.
Of course.
Okay. So I'm going to start with two fonts walk into a bar and the bartender yells, "Hey, get out of here. We don't serve your type here."
Ah! Ho, 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 ho. I'm proud that I actually got that right away. That's nice. That's because sometimes I don't, as you well know. Oh, Rayne, do you have any information for me?
I do. Yeah. Do you know what the hardest part about skydiving is?
Jumping out of the plane.
Nope, the ground.
That would actually that's the truth of it. That is,
yes.
That's so true. Yes. That's true.
Taebyn, what do you got for us?
Well, I want to know what you call a bear with no ears.
You said this one before.
That was 2 weeks
ago. We did that before.
Yes,
I was testing your memory. Very good. So instead, I'll ask, what day of the week? Why is what day of the week? There's a typo. It says what? It says what day of the week 2 chickens hide, but I think it's supposed to be what day of the week do chickens hide.
Oh, so, I think I know. I
do too. I think you know too. Let us know.
It's Friday.
It totally is.
Yeah.
I could tell Rayne also had a pretty good of a clue right there too.
Yeah. And I can't believe that such a great author like Hugh would misspell a part of this book.
I know. I don't know if I can humor you on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other day I was at the vet's office and a woman walks in with a sopping wet rabbit.
Oh no.
Yeah, right. So the rabbit starts running amok, jumping on other customers, teasing the other animals. And the woman was all apologetic and said, "Sorry, I just washed my hair and I can't do a thing with it."
That squeaky was the right squeaky on that, I must say. Oh, Rayne, please tell us what you think about that in the form of information.
So why is it always hot in the corner of a room?
Because it is corner-tastic.
Because it's always 90 degrees?
Oh.
That's correct.
Well, that reminds me. I once had a pet ant.
Yes,
I did. And it would not go away. So guess what I called him?
I don't know.
Dead ant?
No, I called him Permanent.
Oh,
He wouldn't go away.
Permanent.
Yes. Yeah.
So, California is under a lot of budget restraints and budget crises and things like that.
Yeah.
So the governor of California announced today that he's going to combine the Highway Patrol with the Department of Wildlife. And the new agency is going to be called Fish and Chips.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh. So, Rayne,
gosh.
I'm fishing for something from you.
So, in my career as a lumberjack, I don't know if you knew this, but I used to be a
Apparently you
lumberjack.
were a
You used to be a lumberjack?
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, in my career as a lumberjack, though, I cut down
okay.
exactly 52,487 trees.
Wow.
I know this because I kept a log.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Well, it turns out that
Yes.
I'm having a bowel movement.
Yes,
Again.
you are.
Get you some Imodium.
I need a haircut, and I'm apparently a sheep right now, and I need a haircut. So guess where I'm gonna go?
Don't know.
Don't know.
I'm gonna go to the Baba shop.
Oh.
I don't know if that even deserved an ah.
Ugh.
Well, and recently, speaking of California, which we did before, I was recently at a nudist colony there,
Oh.
and I saw Ronald McDonald. I knew it was him because of the sesame seed buns.
Oh. Could we also get a reverse whistle thingy on that, please? Yeah, that
There we
okay. That
go.
works.
Yes.
That works. Okay. Oh, Rayne. Tell me what's
how do
happening
you tell
on
if
the
the
plane.
pool is safe for diving?
How do you know if the pool is safe for diving?
Yes.
How do you tell if the pool is safe for diving?
It deepens.
Oh, it depends. I see.
It depends on how you say that.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's
Oh.
right.
Ooh. I know you both know the answer to this.
Okay.
I know this for a fact.
Okay.
Because you've already know everything else I've said. But I do know you know this for a fact. So I'm going to ask you a question, and on the count of 3, I want you both to say it at the same time.
Because that always
Ready?
works out so well.
Yeah,
It always
so
works
well.
out so well. It's right? It does.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And the one that says it like last loses. So
All
let's
right.
make
Oh,
this a
no.
tie. Let's make this a
Okay.
tie.
All right.
How do you count a lot of cows on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3.
With a calculator.
Yes. Oh, barely lost.
I lost that one. I didn't get it at all.
Okay.
Sorry.
Calculator.
Okay, I've got one more, and I'm going to say it's a throwback to your story of the 3 little pigs from way back when.
Oh.
Do you know why they left home?
I don't, because the wolf was already outside, so it could have been the wolf. Why did the piggies leave the house?
Well, originally, they left home to go build their houses.
Yeah.
They had to leave their own home with their mommy and daddy. They left because their father was an awful bore.
He really was. So speaking of
So
an
sad.
awful bore, I mean, the opposite of an awful bore. Rayne, what do you have for us?
Well, I went to the bookstore the other day and asked the saleswoman where the self-help section was.
Yeah.
She said if she told me, it would defeat the purpose.
Oh, yes.
Okay, wait. If she told me... Okay, so wait, so where's the self-help section? And if she told me it would defeat the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Of self-help. You gotta help yourself.
Oh!
We have comprehension.
Oh my cow. Okay, I got it. This reminds me of, and I was actually thinking about this the other day. Do you remember when, and this was like not too many episodes ago, I told there was a joke about the apartment complex, and Barely had such trouble figuring out, but once he finally did, his arms, like he waved his arms around and it was so cute. I was thinking about that actually, so this reminded me of that. Anyway, why?
Give us your final joke.
Well, please do, yes, please. Every crew out there saying, Taebyn, will you just stop? Just stop. Why did the giraffe get bad grades?
I don't know.
I don't know. Why did the giraffe get bad grades?
He always had his head in the clouds.
Well, now, like all good things, we have to bring this episode to an end.
And bad things.
And bad things. We must come to an end of our episode. Thanks to all our listeners out there. We love you and thank you for listening. If you're still listening, thank you for sticking around. Remember, you can help support the show through donations at Ko-Fi or Patreon, or by subscribing to the show on Buzzsprout. You don't have to, but it helps. Merch is available at Redbubble, Bonfire, or Fourth Wall. So until next time, and before I turn it over to Taebyn, Rayne, have you got any final words?
Yeah, so I hope all of you will join me on Friday, which is, going to be my normal thing. And you can join me Friday on Mixcloud at 7 Pacific. And stay furry. Moobarkfluff, everyone.
Moobarkfluff. Taebyn, close out this episode, would you please?
I'd like to do that only because I know we're going to be back next week, and so I don't have to cry. But I also have to say, on the note about merch, I'm going to have some of my own Taebyn merch and potentially more pod merch I'm not sure where it's going to be, but it will be, so look out for that. There'll be a Taebyn shirt and maybe some mugs. I don't know. We don't know quite yet, but I've got the artwork is in progress. So that's exciting. Look out for that. That'll be fun and exciting. So, but, yes, thank you if you're still listening, especially for joining us on this fine eve or afternoon or pre-game meal with a soapbox. Whatever it happens to be, thank you. Rayne was just like, what is even going on, Taebyn? I get that a lot.
What are you talking about, Taebyn?
I have no idea, but thanks for asking. So, yeah, it's been a great time. It's been a great show. I've been having a good time. I hope Rayne and Barely have also been having a good time.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Always have a good time.
Oh, yay! Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that. And I hope all you first have too. So, until next week, have a wonderful week. And can't wait to bark at you next week until I'm trying to say until then, Moobarkfluff, stay furry. I can't talk. Thank you. Good night. Leave your tips at the door.
Barely Furcasting is an Injured Nerve studio production and is found on all major podcast platforms or can be heard directly at barelyfurcasting.com. The opinions expressed here are those of the hosts and their guests, and no commercial compensation was granted. The Furcast is produced, recorded and directed by Barely Normal, aka Mike Began, and is edited by Barely and our associate editor Rayne Raccoon. Opening and closing theme music, as well as some interstitial music, was created for Injured Nerves Productions for the use on the podcast by Reg Day with Damian Tanuki. If you would like to hear more music by Reg Day, you can search for Tweezerbeak on Bandcamp or Hoop Loop Tunes on SoundCloud. Other interstitial and background music by Shane Ivers through silvermansound.com, Gator Tots on soundcloud.com, and the YouTube Free Is library. If you would like to send us a message, you can do so via email at barelyfurcasting@gmail.com, or on our Telegram chat at BFFT chat, on Twitter, on our Facebook page, or on the barelyfurcasting.com webpage. You can help support the show through donations at ko-fi.com/barelyfurcasting, or through Patreon at patreon.com/barelyfurcasting. Thanks for listening. We hope you come back and listen next week.